So I am finally showing the Epidiascope by C. Baker of London that I got a while ago because it was cheap and because I can't resist just random equipment that's in a textured black painted metal. And I have got the lens that's inside along with the slide carriage. I'll show that later. But yeah, this is the unit. It is big and it's quite interesting. I need to clean this out, as you can see. But it is quite interesting because it is both a slide projector up here and you can project small objects or pictures in here as well. You can see it's got a piece of blue glass, because it's got this pointer, this very dangerous looking pointer, which I presume is so you can manipulate a small object here and you can just look through the window. But yes, it's got some lenses for the light. I'm just going to probably just put some LED lights in here because you can see it would have got quite hot because I've got two fans and a big motor. Now unfortunately this motor seems to be quite seized. I'll be able to clean that out hopefully. The bigger problem is the belts have just melted, so I don't know where I'm going to get belts that big. I'll have to look into that. But yes, this thing, I've seen in some pictures, I think this thing might have originally had a stand that it would sit on so that you could put things under here. I don't know. Because this thing came with some weird wooden thing that looked like they'd made some sort of stand for putting photo plates. But yeah, I don't have that. It also has this, this mechanism with wires and pulleys that goes around, and I'll show that too. That's to switch it from one sort of projector to the other. And you can look around here, there's the motor and fans. You've got this, I think this is probably a dimmer, so you can adjust the brightness of the projector. But yeah, I'll need to take this all off to service all that, because it's all frozen up. In here you can see the mirror. And here it's got its model stuff. It's an Epidiascope Type C. Interestingly, it's got this arrow mark. And now with a WD alongside it, that would be for the War Department. But this by itself is the broad arrow. And it's used by the Department of Defense to mark their property. So this must have been owned by the Department of Defense at some point. Although with the slide it's got, I suspect it was probably in some school or something. Yeah. So no, I don't have any Department of Defense documents or anything like that. And I'll show the mechanism. Pull back, and I'm going to switch the lever. And you can see that turns there, that light, because I think there's a switch in there. And you can hear the mechanism changing. But it's probably more interesting from here, where now you can see where the slide, the slide would be in there. That would be projecting a slide, and then I'll pull the lever. It is very stiff, and that lens that other lens needs cleaning. I'm going to have to clean everything. But then when I pull that up, there the mirror flips up. But yeah, this mechanism is so stiff. But there we go. And you can see my hand again. So that's all in here. I might show it off when I clean it up. Anyway, there you go. Just a look. Oh, and I'll have to change the cord because, as you can see, it's all frayed through. The rubber is all right though. So what I'm thinking of doing is just if I can, changing it just from this switch here. Because to get into here, I was going to do that, but to get into here means you have to get into this mechanism, which means you have to remove all the complicated wire system and get this fitting out, which is going to be very tricky. And I'd rather not do that. So if I can, I'll just change the cord from here. And I can't figure out how to get this plug off because there's no screws or anything. The screws on the inside. Although I'm wondering if this is threaded and unscrews, but it's so stiff I can't get it apart. So I'll just be putting a different cord on anyway, so I'll keep that plug if I can never figure it out. But yeah, and it's one more thing, it's got these things. There's two on the back and there's one on the front. I don't know what slot on there at some point, but some accessories it looks like fitted on there. I'll just close it up, and you can see it's all got vents, because again this would get very hot when you've got bright filament bulb, incandescent bulbs in this. Yeah, I'll show off the other bits too, and then give it a clean. So here is the lens for the Epidiascope. You can see it is huge. It's an f4.5 lens, and Stigma, Seabaker, London, so it's the same people. And it's got some marks on it, but you can't really see them, can you? But it's got some marks on it, but they're alright. I think they're just dirt or something, because they rub off. But I'll have to give it a clean, because as you can see it is very dirty. But I know some people like to convert old projector lenses to camera lenses. Can you imagine putting something like this on your camera? It's huge, just massive. But I am missing the screw, because it has a threaded hole where a screw would have gone, so you could probably a handle so you could focus it nice and easy. So I'll have to find something for that. Also stops it falling out when you pick it up. And I also have, as I said, the slide carriage, and here are the slides in it. Now you can sort of see them now. That's from the Royal Visit of 1901. Cooper & Co. lantern slide maker, as you can see at the bottom. And then you've got a statue of some politician. So yeah, nothing super exciting. Well, I think it's interesting, but you haven't got any secret government secret government files or anything. Anyway, I'll show off the other stuff and then I'll open this thing up. I thought I'd show some of the other stuff I've got. So I came with two of these film reel holders. They're off a projector. They don't actually fit on the Epidiascope. So they've got these different screw mounts. They don't fit on the Epidiascope, so they're off a different projector, but they came with it. And this one actually has a scrap of film left on it. Now, there was something on this once, but it is now rock hard, probably from being stored in a shed or something in a hot place, but it's all fused together. Completely useless. I wonder if it came off when they were taking the rest of the film off or something. But yeah, a remnant of old film there. I got two, the other one doesn't even have anything on it. I'll close that later. And I got two of these things. They're film winders, so you can rewind the film. So there you go. Yep. Quite fun to turn. I'm getting distracted. So here's some of the other stuff that I got. There's the other film reel holder. There's another film winder. There's this beautiful big ceramic and copper switch mounted on a stone block with lead fuses. And you can see it looks to have a Japanese label. I think it goes this way. And then a socket. There's also this, let's see if I can get it out. There's also this terrifying cord. So we've got a nice plug. This is also, if I can get the camera to focus on it, it says made in Japan. There we go. And on the other end is a light bulb socket, an Edison screw type. It's got one of these old style switches, which is a twist, which I think is sort of model on the old gas lamp valves. And the back just unscrews, which is nice. You can see it's a very basic switch. It just has a brass box that makes contact and then breaks contact. Pretty simple, very basic. Now if I put the cover back on, I've got a tripod now so I can actually show this. So it's got a socket on the side, which that's very neat. You can have a light bulb in and you can plug something in. So let's do that. And firstly, it's not very good, which I suppose that could be because it's worn out. This thing could be quite old. But you can see, right, the contacts are just right there. You can't put a finger there, but you could certainly drop something in there. So I don't think that's very good. Also, again, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but it's got a brand on it, which sounds rather familiar. Matsushita. That's not going to focus. Oh well. There's also this box of stuff. Some blue cable with a connector. And I've got quite a few old mahogany photo plate holders for cameras. Although just about all of them are broken in some way or other. The timber's so thin it just snaps. But this is one of the bigger ones. Most of them are smaller and they're inside. But yeah, they're all rather damaged. And there's also an old stage light. I think it looks like a stage light or something. But that's somewhere in the back. And it's not particularly interesting. And also some weird wooden assembly that I think the Epidiascope was placed on at some point. But it's certainly not original. It's just made out of random scrap bits of timber. It's probably underneath all this, but this is all wedged in the box. So with the cover removed, you can see that it is very dirty inside. This lens, very dusty, and this mirror here, which as we can see is sitting on some cork mounted studs. Under here it is very dusty. That's a lens there, but it is just covered in dust. And the mirror itself has got dirt in here, it's probably got dirt on the other side. I'm going to just put it back for now, but I'm going to have to clean this all out. Probably with a brush, then with a vacuum cleaner, so that it can actually do much, because yeah, you can see that. Anyway, I'll give it a clean. The mirror itself shows a little bit of desilvering, so I think it'll be fine. It just needs to reflect light. It doesn't need to reflect a clear image or anything, so we'll see how that goes. Just look at the size of this lens. It's beautiful, isn't it? And I'll give this a nice clean. Yeah, this is just the one for the one that, what do you call it? It's the one that goes straight to the slide. Anyway, it's the convex lens that gets the light from the mirror to the slide. It doesn't matter. It's a lens and it goes there. An interesting thing is you can actually see the marks from where it was mounted. See, there's another one from where the mounts are. So I'll make sure I line those up so I don't put any more scratches in it. But yeah, looks a lot cleaner than it was before. So now with the case and the lenses and the mirror removed, we can see the mechanism much more clearly. So now it is in the slide projector setting, and you can see the light would come from here, down in the boat base, through a lens, a mirror, another lens, through the slide, and through this lens and the main lens, or the focusing lens, and that would project the slide. Anyway, we've got this lever to change it into the object projecting setting, or larger picture projecting setting. You can see this lens raises, and the mirror that was sealing off the bottom area rises, and you can see this carriage here moving, and the mirror flips up and then seals off this area, and it would reflect whatever is below up here and through the lens. And then when I retract it again back to the slide projector setting, you can see that the mirror again lowers, sealing off that, and the lens springs back into place. Quite a neat mechanism. It'll need some oiling because it's very stiff. Hopefully that'll sort something out. It could also just be the pulley system is slightly mangled, but it works. So I'll continue giving it a clean. Now this glass is rather loose, so I wonder if this is it was a replacement, or if it was always just like this. Maybe this has come apart a bit. So there we go. I've cleaned it to just about as best I can. It's a rather annoying design. There's a lot of places that are almost uncleanable because it's got all these vents and things, and all these pulleys, the pulleys and the cable everywhere. But it's looking a lot better than it was. And the lenses are now all clean, although I might give them another dust. Now I have noticed, as you can see here, that this wiring is looking quite melted, so I'm going to have to replace all of it. And this motor, again, as I've said earlier, is very stiff. The fans spin well though, so they're fine. But yeah, I'm going to have to just change all the wiring. It's quite simple. It's just going to be annoying here because it's got the pulley going around it, and when I change the settings it turns it, so I think it must, I don't know, switch this light on or off depending on what setting you've got it. Maybe. I don't know why it does that, but it does, and it looks like it's designed to. So that's going to be annoying to remove, and that's where the power cable comes in. That's why I just wanted to change part of the power cord, but I'm going to have to change it all because it's all melting. Yeah, because that's all melted, the insulation just come off there. And as for this, because it's got the switch, I may or may not keep this. I probably won't, because it's already got a switch here. There's no need to have one here as well. Also, it takes a while to turn off for some reason. Might just be gummed up, but it'll eventually click. But yeah, I'm probably just going to get rid of that. There you go. But I'll probably get rid of that. I'll need to take this off and service the motor. And I'll probably just put this all back together because now that this is clean, or at least reasonably clean, I don't need to touch anything else except for these. Just give them a little bit of oil and hope that sorts things out. But other than that, I'm not going to need to touch anything in this top section because all the wiring is down there with the lights and the motor. So that's what I'll get to that. Oh, and don't you worry, I remembered the cork piece, because I know I worry in videos when people forget stuff. And I hope they put it on, but yep, I remembered the cork piece, so I'm not going to wreck the mirror. Close it down over there. So, here we go, I'm going to oil the tracks. Now, I've cleaned this thing as best as I can. It seems whenever I move something or just rub something or blow at something, more dust comes out, but that's just there's so many little gaps and things that it's just impossible to clean it properly without completely disassembling it. But I think I've done my best. So, yeah, I'll oil it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on the tracks. I can do it without making a mess. Come on, of course. It is very tight, surprise, for using with such a big bottle. There we go. I just want to put a little bit, just enough, so that it can travel properly. I'm realizing that it doesn't actually go that far. This will make things easier. And I'll here just mop up any that drips, because any drips are going to lead to more problems. The good thing is apparently this oil also cleans it, so at least that's what it says on the bottle. As to whether it actually does anything to do with cleaning, I don't know. But I'm just going to put a little bit of oil, there we go, here. And a little bit on here. And maybe it'll be slightly less stiff. There is a spot down there that I'm going to try and oil. There's a little spring-loaded bearing or something. Well, not really a bearing, but it's the lever here. But we'll just put some oil there. That is loose enough. That does not need any oil, I don't think. I don't expect this to make much of a difference or any difference. But we'll see if it helps, even slightly. And I'm just going to put all the glass in now. Well, for the top bit, because I'm going to close it up. I think it's clean enough. Isn't it just the most beautiful glass? Just look at these. Just magnificent. Anyway, I'm going to be slotting them all in now. There's a few marks in this one. You can see there's a mark there. Yep. I don't know, it shouldn't affect. This is just to bring light in the end. There's a chip in it looks like, on the surface as well. And I'll line up the damage from the screws. Well, from the brackets. As if I can get this in. The mechanism is in the way, of course. There we go. Just put that in. There we go. And that looks pretty good. Well, it turns out getting those little clips in place and putting the screw and screwing the screws down is actually quite a fiddly job. But I've got them in the right spot now. And then we've got the other lens. Have a little look. That's the bottom there. You can see a little mark from the holder. Again, give it a dust to get all the dirt off. Well, the last of the dirt. I feel like there's tiny bubbles in glass. I think some used to consider that a mark of quality, to have bubbles in the lens or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'll give it a clean, get all my fingerprints off as well, if I can. There we go. That just sits there. Again, these are all just for light. And then we of course have finally the mirror. Which I'll just give it a clean. Now this one, I think you might have spotted it, but it's not in the best of shape. You can see the sort of gold coloured streaks in it where the silver's tarnishing and sort of, but this is just to reflect light, so it'll just make the projector slightly dimmer. There we go. That just sits like that on its three supports, and then that'll come clamping down. Now the last thing I'll do is clean up this lens because it's got some more dust on it than it did before, and then I'm going to seal this up because I can clean the mirror from the other side. This mirror here can be cleaned from the other side, but put that in, and then I'll give this a wipe. Not over my assembly. So I'll just give this a wipe, and then I will close up this assembly. Might have to leave this to dry because this cloth's damp. Then I will again close it up, and then it's just the base that needs work. And of course the rewiring and all that. So yeah, the base will get rewired. Might do that another time. I was cleaning the back and I noticed that I think there's something written here once. You can see in the white ink, or probably some sort of crayon or something, something was written on it. Actually, it's rather hard to read. That looks like 59 or something. Actually, the camera, for some reason, it looks a bit clearer on the camera. And it looks like maybe another 5. I don't know. Some slashes, maybe it's a date or something. Who knows? But I think that is something. Yeah, someone's written something on it at some point. I thought I'd open up this switch just to see how it's wired, because yeah, my idea of just changing the cord from here on now, nope, the insides are all melted. So, this is more just curiosity, and to see why it makes that weird, why it does that weird thing when you turn it off, it doesn't turn off for a bit. I wonder if it's gummed up or if it's some weird design. There we go. I think it's gummed up. Feels a little sticky. It's just sticky. So I think with all that if the gunk got cleaned out, it would work fine. But yeah, and it is, yeah, you can just change this piece of the cord. But again, I'm just going to be replacing it. Interestingly, this is 2-wire. So there's only 2, there's no earth, although it looks, you can put an earth in if you don't have the screws here. Oh, actually, no, I think the idea... I think, yeah, you attach the earth to this or something. I don't know, it looks, it has a channel here as if it is designed for 3-wire. Yeah, 3 wires. But I don't know how you'd... Oh, actually, no, I know what it is. Screwdriver, I can show. Oh, this will probably do it. This unscrews, although this screwdriver is too big. This one will be the right size. This unscrews and is the terminal, because then it goes through, it earths this part of the mechanism, because you can see it's insulated. Oh. Yeah, there you go. You've got this little thing. Alright. Now that I've made a mess of it, I have to undo the other one to figure out how to attach that, but that must have... Let's see. I'm going to be carefuler with this one and show what happens. Because I need to find out where those other parts go. So, carefully unscrew it. And I don't have tweezers with me, so I'll just slide this up. And we have the washer first. Although this is just an ordinary washer. Oh, no, we have this first. And this seemed to be off to the side. And then we have this underneath it, the little, yeah, you can see the thing that stops at the locking washer, or whatever you call it. Okay, I think it must have been mounted in here, because I'm sure I would have seen the little, what do you call them, the crimping connector here. So I'm putting them there, because I think that's where they're supposed to be anyway. But yeah, that's a pretty neat design. But again, I'm not going to use this because it's already got a switch here. There's no reason to have another one here. But I might reuse this somewhere else, because I do like it. Go out in a table lamp or something. If I ever get a table lamp that I think needs rewiring and that's the correct style. Oh, they're so fiddly though, so I'll get this done off camera.